One of the legacies of the homegrown program is the Fiscal Responsibility Law that was passed in 2015, which codifies Grenada's commitment to fiscal discipline and enhances fiscal resilience. That framework has served Grenada very well. Think about the pandemic and the fact that Grenada, the government, had resources to help cushion the effect with safety nets, or the fiscal fundamentals to draw resources from international sources to help during a difficult time. Tourism shut revenue down, in some cases by 50% at one point. But more recently, the payment of pensions. That's because of the sacrifice you made, we made, and that framework called the Fiscal Responsibility Law. Grenada, whatever you do, preserve that law. It has served you well. It is serving you well. I know some of you didn't agree with some aspects of the law, but I think we all agree, those of us who have received pension will agree that it was worth it. Because you could have pronounced you're paying pension and have no space to pay the pension. Contrast that with 2008 to 2013, when there was no fiscal space. Global financial crisis then morphed into a great recession. You know why? Because the government did not have the capacity. I was in the Ministry of Finance then. The government did not have the capacity to employ or deploy what we will call counter-cyclical fiscal policy. Big word to simply say, when things are down, you spend more. When things are up or good, you spend less. You save for the rainy day. To do that, you have to have the fiscal space. You have to have the headroom. So the idea of the fiscal responsibility legislation is to have the fiscal space in a shock to be able to spend, cushion the effect, and get out of it as quickly as possible. That's why you have to preserve that framework. That's the flexibility it gives you to run counter-cyclical fiscal policy. Absent that, you know what happened? Instead of spending more, we had to cut more. And all that did was prolong the difficulties, prolong the contraction of the economy. But you could only spend an easier way out if you have the resources so to do. A lot of people didn't understand that, and I still suspect 10, 15 years later, some people still don't understand that. We got to understand that. The truth is that if we had had that 10 years earlier, 20 years earlier, you see that good performance that I showed you earlier? Grenada would have done even better. That's an example of what I mean. Because we'd have been able to ride out those shocks far faster than we have been able to do or were able to do. It's very important for building resilience.